See at nighttime. Nighttime seeing is important. Don't you want to see things? Seeing things is better. What's wrong with you? You don't want to see things. TNVC.
Welcome, Internet, to another ARFCOM
Review.
Today, we're going to be reviewing the Palmetto State Armory Dagger. This is the subcompact version, or the compact version, not the subcompact version. Internet, get mad at me if you want. On my right, your left, we do have Bobby keeping us based. He's one of our camera guys. And then on our left, we have Taylor, who is always keeping us from being shilly. Shilly's a new verb. Today, we are going to do a Gen 3 Glock clone. But this is an interesting one. I do think that this falls in a really unique place in the market for, and I know we've already done a polymer frame pistol in this point, but Gen 3 Glocks are this like weird holy grail of compatibility and like
Aftermarket support,
everything. And so Palmetto State Armory, and they do this with everything, decided, hey, we're going to make one of these things and we're going to make it affordable. I don't want to call it cheap because it's not cheap. You can definitely find pistols cheaper than this, but as far as having the design features and the compatibility and then also like the parts availability, this is probably as affordable as you can get with it being reliable. We shot this compared to with some other guns that are also Gen 3 to Gen 5. Overall, and I'll just kind of give you guys this, there's not that big of a difference in actually shooting it. Is there a big difference in build quality? Sure. Parts and parts availability? Sure. You can go buy a $400 barrel. There's likely a difference. The way that the rifling's made, depending on if it's in spec or not, the way it's going to wear. But in shooting the thing and doing the thing the gun's supposed to do, it's kind of just as good.
It shoots reasonably well. And I mean, we're talking about something that is a $379 MSRP, not on daily deals. So
yeah, that's
excuse me.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for 4th of July to get a sub $400 dagger.
And today they actually have the frames separate from the slides. So for under $300, you could essentially pick up a tan frame that's on daily deals today, and the tan slide they have with the carry cuts and all that stuff. So for $400, you have a lot of options. And if you're a first pistol purchaser or don't own a Glock, you want something new. I mean, for what it is, that's a great price point. It's the same reason there's a lot of Honda Civics out on the road.
I think it's also kind of neat is that it is like they have everything. These weird, I don't think legally I can call them combat sights, but that this ARS came with that.
And I mean, there's some of these that are optics cut coming from the factory. There's some you don't have to get an optics cut if you don't want to, or the threaded barrel. I mean, there's a lot of options. The micro dagger we don't have, and we don't have a dagger full size, so those also exist. Just to note.
Generally speaking, that this gives you a lot of the stuff. You do have a slightly exaggerated magazine release. You do have like a semi-protected slide lock, slide lever, depending on where you're from on a lot of that stuff. There is a grip angle difference here, and I didn't know why it bothered me, and you're just smarter than I am, so you figured it out a little quicker than I did, but like, it was the only thing that I noticed in coming from one to the other when we were shooting it. Why?
Whenever we were filming and I was taking some shots with this, I like my first draw, I was like, hey, where's my dot? And like, I'm kind of doing like the Glock, programming of like, pull it out, kind of compensate for it on
forward,
the way. Yeah. And with this, when I kind of stopped thought, like, okay, I'm just going to draw and point, it had a similar feel to like that MMP 2.0 experience where it comes out and it's there. And for me, it may be different from other people, but for me, it just kind of falls right where it needs to be when I pull it up to my eye.
And for the layperson, so Glocks have, just so I can visually show you, Glocks have a bit more of an exaggerated bulbous back end here, and so it requires you to crank your wrist over. There's a lot of people that will talk about the 1911 Glock angle, and it's just more up and down. It's supposed to be more ergonomic, because it doesn't require you to clench your wrist over. That's what he's describing. It's the only thing I noticed, and because we were comparing them to what they're made after, that's kind of why. This would be a different discussion if we were comparing this to an MMP, but the price point difference wouldn't be.
Yeah, the price is something that's
pretty ridiculous.
It's pretty impressive to me. And, even like you were talking earlier about, polymer 80, if you get a frame, you have to buy a slide, you have to buy a barrel. The polymer 80 comes with, all of the interior parts like locking block and the rails and stuff that you need. Sure. But you're still probably easily going to get over, you're probably going to get over $400 pretty quickly.
To answer the question of who do I think this gun's for, I think this is very much for the person that's just getting into guns, that kind of sees something at the range and wants it, but doesn't want to spend $1,200. This is 1913 rails, so all of your flashlights are going to work on this. Even on the compact version here, you have enough rail to throw on even a full-size light. This is a TRL1 HL. And then it's going to come with either the Dr. Opter cut. I don't know how many different optic cuts they come
I know they've got
with.
a few. I know there's a Doctor. We know there's an RMR, obviously. I'm pretty sure there's a Delta Point out there.
Yeah.
And again, this is something that you may learn more or know about. Let us know.
But I think that it fits there, and you're really having to work super hard to get most of this at way more money. You talked about the P80. The biggest reason why I tend to pull people away from those, although it's based as hell to make your own firearm, these are easy to dick up. I'm not putting that by my bedside. I'm not trying to arm my family with that unless I really trust myself with doing it. And then on the opposite end, you're spending a lot of money. On the, again, we
More
just
than
talked
$300
about, to keep Bobby from getting in trouble, we'll just talk that he has a Gen 5 Glock that he stippled himself. He put a little gas pedal on there. He put the threaded barrel on there. He's got all the other stuff. He's lucky enough it was an MOS, so we didn't have to pay to get it cut.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of doll hairs for something that may not be appreciably better. I'm not going to say just as good because we'll go down that conversation. But I do think that you're spending almost too much.
Yeah, I feel better about stippling this.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like buy your factory gun and let it be a factory gun.
Yeah.
Or you have money and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But just understand what you're really getting yourself into. And I think really in the long run, that's why I think this is such an appealing gun, is it allows you to make those decisions without having regrets. I am curious to see, and this is really where OEM gets in there, and the people in the comment section can go yell at everybody who disagrees with me. OEM is OEM for a reason. And the reason why it's like the heralded acronym that it is because it's seen more rounds. You've seen more of these guns go out in the wild and operate in very adverse conditions and do well. The manufacturer has had enough time to get that data and update their designs. And they might not be changing much, but what they are changing is designed to fix the issues that they are getting. The Dagger is still relatively new when you look at the timeline of duty grade pistols, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
And so, but PSA's got a really good reputation, and I think they've earned that reputation of taking user feedback. They're coming out with like cool stuff.
I mean, I know they fixed the issues with the mag releases. I'm not 100% if there's been any other major issues. I assume we would have seen the content, because most things I'm seeing about them is really just talking about affordability versus any issues. I mean, any kind of first gen product, any early adopters to any product are going to have more issues just based on that.
So if they continue on the trajectory they did with their ARs, they also had a lot of success with their line of AKs, where they go from Gen 1 to, I think they're like Gen 5 now.
Yeah.
But that every single time they get better at manufacturing and they're taking user feedback, these things within the next 5 to 10 years might be in that same conversation where it's almost interchangeable. Like I said, I don't personally own one, but I definitely recommend it a lot. And then I could, if you're watching this because you're thinking about buying it, you're not going to be mad about it, more likely than not. And if you are mad about it, their QC, they're going to take care of you with their customer service stuff on the back end. But
if you like this content, please help us support the people that keep the lights on and keep me happy and fed. Please take care of our sponsors. Go get something nice for yourself from them. Also, check us out on Instagram, AR15.com, on the news channel if you're not. Also on the deals page, which rhymes with something like AR15.com/ some word that rhymes with deals.
We have a Discord. For now, it's limited entry, very exclusive to those who click the link first. We will be opening up to a larger audience. I'm just not ready to handle all of you at once.
that's what she said.
It's true.
For everything else, I do appreciate you guys. If you guys have feedback, if you guys would like to see other types of guns for us to review, put it in the comment section below. If you hate the way we did this, let us know. And if you like the way we did this, let us know. I'll talk to y'all about it being wrong. But either way, I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And until next time,
Andrew loves you.
Peace.